Broads Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on in to Sports Talk with Broads. We got ourselves the first Football Friday of the season, and it's a magical feeling. Let's utilize this as basically a pep rally to get you through the weekend until we finally see the first snap from Jason Kelce to Jalen Hurts, and he's in the pocket scanning the field, throwing dots to the sidelines, hitting Devontae Smith so he can toe tap his way to a nice 30-yard gain. I'm getting the goosebumps just sitting here. We're 10 seconds, 30 seconds into the show, and I'm buzzing, baby. And I'm going to be honest, I had maybe a total of 4 sips of coffee. I'm working on my first cup here, so I can only imagine as we progress through, it's only going to get crazier, and it'll start to pour in a lot more. So hold on, baby, because we're coming, and there's no Tom Brady ceremony that can steal away what will be an Eagles victory. When you look through the rosters, the Eagles are stronger at 99.9% of their roster, so they're good to go, if not 100%. I'm just giving you the 0.01 or the 0.1, whatever it is. I'm not good at math because, well, I don't know. I guess I just have to, even though I don't really have to. The Eagles are going to win this game. I'm not concerned at all. The Patriots are dealing with an issue over at right tackle. Do I need to explain who the Eagles' defensive front is or who they are? The names? I think you know the list. You know the waves that they come in. They don't stop. And everyone has such a uniqueness about them. It's different. It's Nolan Smith. It's Brandon Graham. It's Josh Sweat. It's just so many guys. I'm putting all of the edge rushers in one category right now. I know the right tackle is what everybody's putting the emphasis on because of having to put one of their guys on the IR. But ultimately, you just look at how much talent and how rare it is to have that much of a special weapon that's ready to just filter in at all times. You will be abused, Mac Jones, and Mac Jones doesn't have enough of a skill set. See, I'm getting choked up. I really am. I think I'm actually getting choked up thinking about the difference of talent on each roster. We're going back to the Super Bowl. We are winning the Super Bowl. We will have the Lombardi Trophy. Nick Sirianni is going to have a fantastic, fantastic speech at Broad Street or on Broad Street at the museum. Maybe they do it differently. Maybe they don't end up at the museum this year. I'll get back on track. I promise you this. Mac Jones won't beat you. How is he going to beat you? Tight ends? Hunter Henry? Gesicki? That's been highlighted because of the rawness and the newness with Nakobe Dean with the full-time role. Can they pick that apart? Not all game long. Not for 4 quarters. There may be a first down or two. There might be a couple plays where Stevenson runs the ball well. Not so much Zeke. I'm not buying into the whole Zeke changing and now he's something good. No, he's 28 years old. He's got 1 billion miles on the tires here. He's not just going to have a blast from the past and be some special weapon for the Patriots. Get close to the goal line. Maybe he could punch it in. But I'm not worried about Zeke. And I'm not worried about Stevenson running the ball because there's meat in the middle of your defensive line. Do you think that Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, that these studs will let Stevenson beat them? Absolutely not. 0% chance. So if you force Mac Jones to throw, you win. You're going to win the football game. There's no way in hell I see the Patriots leaving that game with the W. I look at the Patriots this way. I'm choking up again. I'm sorry. That was more of a burp, but I'm choking up again. The Patriots are a team that can beat the 4-win teams, beat the 5-win teams, but they're not good enough to consistently go after the double-digit squads. They're 500 is really their identity since Tom Brady left. Bill Belichick is not the same without the greatest quarterback to ever live, which makes a lot of sense. That's no knock on Bill, but I think the pedestal that he was once on, I always look at Bruce Arians as the example. What was the talking points of Bruce Arians before he won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady in Tampa Bay? He gets Tom Brady, and now all of a sudden, he's a Super Bowl winning coach. You got to have the dogs, man. You got to have the top-tier talent. Guess what this Eagles team has? Top-tier talent everywhere. Except for linebacker. And I'm looking at Avonte Maddox on the inside, too. Because, well, we know that Slay and James Bradbury can lock it down on the outsides. So maybe they try and target over the middle. There's no way over 4 quarters is that going to beat Jalen Hurts, who is so ready to go. I get goosebumps listening to the guy speak. And most of the time, he's boring as hell. I won't sugarcoat it. He speaks in cliches. Sometimes you don't even know if he's a real human. He seems like a robot. But maybe I miss the game so much that just seeing his presence at the podium, even if he's speaking gibberish and giving us nonsense, I'm going, baby. I'm following. I'm right there. He's the leader. And I'm just waiting, ready to see what he does, and I'll match that intensity in any way that I can. There's something about the videos that are tweeted out by the beat reporters on the way that he's working in practice and the way that he handles everything and puts his team in a position to win by saying and doing what is needed, and everyone latches on. Because if you don't match what Jalen Hurts is doing, you're not going to succeed and be in this locker room very long. You know you're in a great position when Felger and Maz up in Boston, and I'm sure not everybody tunes in to 98.5 The Sports Hub, but I lived up in New England for 3 years during my hockey career, and I listened to 98.5 The Sports Hub at that time because, well, I was in the area, and I lived with a bunch of Boston sports fans, and I always wanted to give them a bunch of shit, and I wanted to chirp them as much as possible, so I listened, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining. So why not dabble into some of their conversations while leading up to the matchup and take a listen to what they talked about in the second hour. I went back and actually grabbed the audio cut, and I won't do this for a long time here. It's a whole entire segment. The segment's 13 minutes long, but I'm just going to snag a couple minutes here. It's fascinating. It shows you, one, how much people do fear what the Eagles provide, and two, the difference between where Bill Belichick once was in his career. This is his 24th season or so with the New England Patriots. That's baffling. You don't have that type of longevity. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl and got canned not too long later. The game is in a different area than it once was. I'm not breaking news here. And I don't know if Bill Belichick and the way he does his business, and he's also the GM, and he makes some interesting decisions with his personnel. It's just not the same anymore. Now, before we get to that audio clip, and we got plenty more to get to, your calls on the Anytime Hotline, some of the things that we saw on Thursday Night Football. Gannon, oh, I swear to God, Jonathan Gannon is the biggest fraud in Eagles history. I need to let you know right now about my friends at MyBookie. They are the presenting sponsor here of Sports Talk with Broads, and as a bettor, you demand perfection, and MyBookie delivers. NFL, college football, and a brand new cash-out system give you options to bet and win all season long. First 2 legs of your parlay hit, cash out early and place another bet, or let it ride for the chance at a bigger payday. Join the MyBookie family for an entire season filled with daily odds boost, same-game parlays, and super contest. This season, MyBookie has a no-strings-attached cash bonus that lets you deposit and withdraw quick. Use promo code BROADS on a deposit of $50 or more, and you can receive up to $200 in cash instantly to your MyBookie account. So bet your deposit amount once, and you're ready to withdraw at any time. And again, that's promo code BROADS to claim your cash deposit bonus. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. Absolutely. Check out the link down below in the description. Remember, make sure you sign up with promo code BROADS on a deposit of $50 or more and have some fun, man. I placed some bets last night. I didn't necessarily have the greatest day at the office, but you got to look at this betting thing as a long journey. It's not just one bet. It's how did I do in 10 bets, in 15 bets. I'm ready to bounce back with the Eagles, and I'm going to put a lot of money down on it with MyBookie. Make sure you follow along there as well. Okay, let's do this. Let's listen to Felger and Maz and what they had to say on where the Patriots are and where your Philadelphia Eagles are. Let's look.
Or I lean Sirianni now, too.
And I mean, here, let me do one more bit of facilitation. This week's opponent, the Philadelphia Eagles. If you were starting over at coach for your NFL team, would you want Nick Sirianni or Bill Belichick?
Sirianni. You know what? I lean Sirianni now, too.
And
excuse me, I can't believe I'm saying that because I dumped all over him in that initial press conference because he came off as a complete goof. But
and let me rephrase this. Would you rather have Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman, which is, again, their GM and their coach? Mm-hmm. Would you rather have the Eagles duo of Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni or Bill Belichick?
Yeah,
Philly's
duo.
I mean,
they're more in tune to how the NFL is run now. You have an offensive-minded coach and a GM that I think has done a pretty damn good job and has been aggressive, gets A.J. Brown. Like, I want that.
Philly. Again, and Roseman's a key part of it. I mean, the way they built that team down there, how do you not like that? So that's a key part of it. In fact, you know what? It was funny because, when we were discussing stuff before the show, and I saw in the email, which one would you rather have as coach? I thought, do I get Roseman?
Yeah, so you do. You do, because we got to make it apples to apples.
I'm a talent guy. I believe in the talent first. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to lean towards that. And I think Sirianni's a pretty good coach. And I don't think Bill's better than pretty good anymore.
Okay, so this is where I sort of parse words. Like, Bill Belichick's a better coach than Nick Sirianni on every day of the week his whole life. I'd rather have Nick Sirianni for my team.
Me too.
He's one of these young offensive guys. It's the trend line of the league.
Okay, I'll stop it there just to give you a different perspective because I'm sure not a lot of everybody tunes into what they're saying up there. Oh, man, I want Nick Sirianni. I want Jalen Hurts. I want Howie Roseman. My guy, Howie Roseman. I love how much love that Howie has been getting. The guy is unbelievable at his job. Somebody who's not unbelievable at his job, and I should put this in the rearview mirror because I want to focus on what's in front of us. I want to focus on beating up on New England and starting off the season 1-0 and all that good stuff. But I'm sorry, when Jonathan Gannon makes statements about Nick Sirianni that are blatant lies, I mean, you have pieces now on the Inquirer of inside sources at the NovaCare complex and people who work for the Philadelphia Eagles saying that Jonathan Gannon never even had these conversations that he's saying to The Athletic with Nick Sirianni at all. The guy just makes stuff up. He's a whole liar. The guy is a full 100% liar. He just makes up trash in his mind and spews it to the media. Good luck, Arizona, because you're getting a piece of crap. That's what you're getting. Listen to some of this stuff, okay? This is Jonathan Gannon. This piece was on The Athletic, and he's talking about all sorts of things. He made a claim that he was the one to propose the idea to Nick Sirianni about removing the play calling from his duties, and Nick said, "Oh, but I don't know. Everyone will look at me as a failure." What type of idiot says that publicly. I mean, do you know how disrespectful those type of claims are to Nick Sirianni, especially if it never happened? Now, we were never behind closed doors. There's a lot of he said, she said involved here. Maybe the Eagles don't want that out because it makes Sirianni look bad, and it did actually happen. I'm not betting on that, okay? If I'm a betting man, my bookie, of course, but if I'm a betting man, I'm going completely against that, and I'm on the side of Nick Sirianni and the Eagles here. I just can't fathom, even if it did, in a world where it did, what the hell are you doing? Talk about not understanding what it's like to be in that culture. It's a family. I talk about this a lot with the NBA. When you're a player in the NBA, you're in a different family. You have a different bond with the players and the union. You'd think that there would be a similar thing with the coaches. There's only so many jobs. It's very limited. If something was to happen like that, you just spew it out. Doesn't make any sense. But I don't even think it happened to begin with, which makes this even more bizarre that he's making up a story. But he also says this, that in Philadelphia, he remembers driving home from the team facility plenty of nights pissed as hell at some of the decisions being made above him, but he wasn't in charge, so he watched, learned, stayed in his lane. I know why I bit my tongue, he says, because of politics in the building where my seat was. I didn't want to offend somebody. Whatever. I don't have to do that now, and it's fucking freeing. This is the best job I've ever had. Hold on a second here, Gannon. You're taking shots at an organization that has had one of the most successful runs just in regards to playoff wins. I know it's only one Super Bowl, but NFC championship games. This team, there's something to be said when you are a player and you get picked by the Philadelphia Eagles, or you get traded for, or in free agency, they're willing to sign you to a contract. There's a known. I'm going to a franchise that has their head on their shoulders. You have cities like Boston saying, I want Howie Roseman. I want Sirianni. They are up in the times. They are fresh. They're at the top of the league. I want to be them. Who the hell are you? And do you know how much you're disrespecting guys who have resumes that are way more impressive than you? Because you have all the answers? My guy, you sucked in the Super Bowl. And then you mimic all of the hate in your direction because a lot of us blame you for the Super Bowl, as we should, because we're holding you accountable. Because you didn't do your job. You were too focused on trying to get the Arizona job at the time. And you lied throughout that process too. I forget who I was talking to, but it was someone who covered the Eagles. I want to say it was John McMullen. I think I was talking to John McMullen on Birds 365 at one point during the season last year. And it was brought up about Jonathan Gannon and something he said in one of his media availabilities. And John said something along the lines of, yeah, the Eagles try and get ahead of him. They always try and get ahead of something that he's saying because they never know what's coming out of his mouth. Something along those lines. Well, I think we're starting to realize that maybe that's the case. And the Eagles are so intelligent that they handle that a lot better than what the Arizona Cardinals are doing. There was more to this, though. It was a devastating finish to a staggering 24-month revival. 7 games into the 2021 season, Nick Sirianni, the Eagles head coach, who'd brought Gannon with him from Indianapolis, stormed into a meeting venting about how he wasn't sure he could call the offense and manage the game how he needed to. At that point, the Eagles were 2-5. So give the play calling to Shane, Gannon suggested. Well, they're going to look at me like I'm a failure. Who gives a fuck, Gannon replied. We're going to get fired if we're 3-14. Dude, once again, don't think that happened. But man, the image that you are creating is absurd. Do you think Nick Sirianni was worried about being a failure? Let's think of him and his personality. Think of the way he is. Man, the guy's on 1,000, right? Very vocal, very passionate. He's himself. I don't think he's ever worried about failing. He'll go down as himself. And I think he could sleep at night knowing if it doesn't go his way, and let's say he had a vision that he would be a championship caliber coach, and he had a game plan, and he likes his X's and O's, and he loves his scheme. He knows one way of coaching. This is me. I'm Nick Sirianni, and it's a very, very unique personality. We know that. I bet you he goes down with him, with his guns. He goes down going full throttle. This is me. It works or it doesn't work. I don't think he's going to go up into a corner, right, and curl up, cry in the corner, and be afraid of Eagles fans. That's not part of his DNA. Do you see the way that this guy handles his business and handles his job? It doesn't even add up at all. I think the guy's an absolute clown. He's a dope. He's a dope, and he doesn't understand social awareness. And he just makes stuff up. He's a pathological liar. Just making sure that's the right word. Unbelievable, man. Truthfully, Nick was way better as a head coach than I thought he'd be. He's basically saying that I thought this guy was going to suck. I can't believe this. The detail that Nick demands is fucking nauseating, but I actually needed that in my game. He held my nuts to the fire where nobody I ever worked for did that. So let me grab onto that, right? I mean, you clearly backhanded complimented him by pretty much admitting your initial reaction was he was going to blow. Now, I don't care what fans think, because when you speak to the media, fans are allowed to have that reaction. That's part of their job. As a defensive coordinator, you're publicly admitting that you thought this guy would blow. It's unbelievable. But after that, he says, I needed someone to hold my nuts to the fire, or I needed that in my game. He held my nuts to the fire where nobody ever worked for did that. So this guy is willing to go after you. Get in your face, scream at you, be what you claim, what you needed. That guy is afraid of fans being upset that he's not calling the plays. I don't see that lining up. So screw you, Jonathan Gannon. I spent way too much time on this. I want to be focusing on the solid Eagles stuff that we're going to see on Sunday. Am I worried about the punting as we transition into more of the actual Eagles? Not really. Sitboss was here last year. Was Sitboss good? Not really. Did they win? They won a lot. Can you get by for a few weeks elevating him off the practice squad until you find out a longer-term option, or unless he becomes someone better and his game actually is good again? We'll see. If my biggest complaint is punter, we're in a good spot. Doesn't mean there won't be special teams plays that are brutal, because I pretty much see that happening. I just believe there's so much talent elsewhere that you make up for the disaster. They're trying. It's not for a lack of trying. You have to do this by default because they're not able to add anything more beneficial yet. We'll see. And Sitboss knows that. He's not even on the roster right now. He's a practice squad player. So if there's any sort of motivation to get your head out of your ass and punt the damn football better, I read all sorts of things about him changing some mechanics and slowing it down a bit. Okay, we'll see what happens. Let's go to the Anytime Hotline. Hear from you. Let's run it. I wanted to get to some of the Lions stuff. I thought C.J. Gardner-Johnson made some pretty impressive plays. The right tackle with the false start. Lane Johnson does that every single day. I'm all right with it. It's more of a technicality of the rule than anything else. Dan Campbell, the play calling on the 7-0 drive and going for it on the fake punt was impressive. And Jalen Reagor is better than Tony. That's pretty much my takeaways on what I saw. And, man, did they miss Jason Kelce. Or Travis Kelce. Jason Kelce, sorry. I just have the GOAT stuck in my mind. And, by the way, I saw a clip of the interview with him and his wife, and I'm excited to watch that podcast. I don't really tune in as often as I should. It's a damn funny pod, and I see all the clips and I crack up. But I am ready for the documentary that's coming out, and I'm ready to check out that pod too. Maybe that's what I'll listen to over the weekend to prepare myself for more Jason Kelce in my life, because it's that time of the year. All right, you see how this happens? I just start rambling. I know I'm a problem. I'm a problem. Let's listen to Anytime Hotline calls so I can drink coffee.
Rhodes, man, I don't think the Pats have a shot I mean, I know that place is going to be fired up for their Brady night, but with that offensive line as beat up as it is, I mean, the pass rush is going to eat. They can try to force the run, but that's not going to go anywhere with a bunch of replacement offensive line guys. I think we're going to get to halftime. They're going to be looking at that big Brady celebration and thinking about what they once were and what they are not now. And we're going to ride through into another Super Bowl season. Go Birds, baby.
I love it. You know what's funny? For the ones that do believe that it's possible the Patriots win this, they're using two things as their advantage. One of them is Bill has time to prepare. What? This isn't a bye week when the Eagles have a gauntlet of 3 teams, 2 of them being on the road. If they saw, and I'm just making up opponents, but if they saw Cincinnati and Cincinnati, they saw the Dallas Cowboys at home, and then they went to Buffalo to play the Bills in a 3-week span, and then you were seeing the New England Patriots, and Bill Belichick was coming off of a bye week, and the timing happened in a certain point of the season. Your body is killing you. You played some really intense teams. You're banged up. You're missing a few pieces. Then the added time has more power in my eyes. Right now, it's an even playing field. You know how long the Eagles had to prepare for Mac Jones? So we're preparing for less talent. We have just as much time as you. Well, they did play later into the season because they did happen to go to the Super Bowl. I just want to factor that in, that they did play longer because they did go to the Super Bowl. They had a lead at half, and then they didn't have a lead at the end of the game. Oh, I don't want to go that far. Okay, my point is Nick Sirianni and this coaching staff had a lot of time to prepare for you as well. Don't give me time. You know when you search for the time? When you know your roster's not good enough. You're searching. Can you catch them off guard because it's week 1? Which is not impossible. But whenever you shift gears and you're no longer talking strategic, when X and O's are removed from the conversation on why you can win, you don't have the advantage. Anything can happen. Any team can win, especially early in the season. No doubt. I'm not even discrediting that at all. My point more is when you dive into that as the sole reason on why you can win, well, your team's at a clear disadvantage talent-wise, or else you'd say, I'm winning because of the quarterback. I'm winning because of the weapons. They don't really have that much talent there. And by the way, Christian Gonzalez, who I like, and I thought they got a good snag at their selection in the NFL draft. Christian Gonzalez is no joke, and he'll grow into a really good cornerback. Welcome to the NFL, my friend. And Jack Jones is dealing with the hamstring injury on top of all the, I'm sure, mental stress from the gun charges, bringing a gun into the Boston airport and that whole entire debacle. I had a wedding up in Boston the week that news was breaking, so I naturally caught the Sports Hub during that time, and man, they were having a field day on that topic. It was bizarre. What a crazy emotional weekend to go up there, but man, you have Jack Jones now dealing with a hamstring injury. Christian Gonzalez, a rookie that you can expose. Where are they going to generate success? Nowhere.
Hey, bros, want to talk about the Birds? I am a full believer in running it back. Until you convince me otherwise, I'm saying we're going 14-3 again.
Okay.
And I'm a little superstitious since we have a Christmas Day game again. The last time we played on Christmas Day, it was technically Christmas Eve, but we beat the Raiders and eventually went to the Super Bowl with the 1 seed. See you later, man.
All right, but if you remember, that Raiders game was not fun. That Raiders game was not fun at all. Let's go back to that. ESPN box score, Eagles, Raiders, Christmas Day. Wasn't good football, but they did win a Super Bowl. If that's the superstition you're riding with, all right. I need more than that personally, but okay, I'm not going to rain on anybody's parade if that's what you. I feel they're going to win the Super Bowl, so we have the same end goal. It's all that matters. Our reasons are just different.
Hey, what's going on, bro? It's calling out here from Washington State. Go Birds. So just found out I'm having my first kid, and so his first name's going to be Nicholas after Nick Foles. You know, gotta make the deal right. hey, I'm going to say the Eagles are going to win like 15 games this year. I think, I respect everybody being, cautious and not wanting to give them too many wins, but 15 for sure. Book it. All right, go Birds.
All right, man, I appreciate your call. Congratulations. I know the feeling, man. I'm waiting. Mid-December is the due date for my little girl that's coming, so God bless, man. I'm excited for you, and these feelings are not expressible, I guess. I don't even know. I'm just pumped. I'm pumped for everything. For Eagles football, not that my child is more important than Eagles football. I do have to say that. But I can't wait to have her be a diehard football fan where she's watching the games with Pops. And we're going crazy on Sundays. I'm stoked. All right, everybody, I love you to death. We're going to kick some ass, and I can't wait to talk about it on Sunday. We'll be talking soon. Catch you on the next one.